Getting kicked out of the pub usually comes after some pretty bad behaviour. But Michael's only crime is the way he looks. The veteran claims he was turned away because of his Maori face tattoo. And Michael joins me now in Perth. Michael, thanks for coming on. You and your wife were on the way to a lawn bowls tournament and decided to grab an early dinner at the Windsor Hotel. What happened when you went to the bar to order your meal?
Kia ora, Ali, and mihi nui kia koe. Warm greetings to you. Yes, that's correct. We walked up to the counter. There was a female bar staff person behind the counter, and we asked if we could look at the menus, and she directed us to the menus that were there. So we perused the menu and thought we would order. It was at this stage that the bar person then turned around and said, "Sorry, we can't serve you." And I said, "Oh, why is that?" And she said, "Because you've got facial tattoos." And I said, "I beg your pardon, these are culturally significant tattoos, or moko for Mauri, and what's the problem here?" And she said, "I can't serve you." And there were some Australian patrons standing next door to us who were ordering some drinks, and they were suitably taken aback as well, and they actually said to her, "Well, can they not just sit down?" And I said, "Look, can I see the manager, please, so I can state my case?" She said, "I am the manager." And I said, "Well, you should know then that these are culturally significant to Maori." And she said, "Yes, we know about you Kiwis, but you still can't stay, you'll have to leave." And so we left. There was nothing there that we saw stating that we couldn't enter the pub because of facial tattoos. And it wasn't until later that we had a look on the website, and we were aghast to find once again that you couldn't enter with facial tattoos. However, dogs were allowed on the premises. And I made a remark to my wahine at the time that perhaps if I'd had a leash on, I might have been allowed in.
Can I just go back for a moment? Can you just talk me through your reaction when you were told to get out of the pub?
Well, I was flabbergasted, to be honest. I was, especially after I explained what the tattoos or the tamoko was about, that it was culturally significant. And for her to then say that, yes, she was aware of the Kiwi tattoos, but that still didn't make any difference, was just overwhelming. I was embarrassed.
Well, you're being shamed for something that you wear so proudly.
That's right, and my forefathers and your forefathers, and you know, we went to war and we fought for the freedoms. They fought for the freedoms, and I served in the military as well, for the right to be able to walk down the street, to walk into a hotel or a restaurant or whatever, and not be hassled for who you are.
So, Michael, the hotel has a very clear policy, and as you say, you can read it online, no facial tattoos. Correct. Can any part of you understand where the manager was coming from when she saw you and said, "Sorry, you need to leave"?
Had she said that at the start, I could probably understand. I still would have questioned the fact that she wanted to remove me from the hotel. I can understand that perhaps they've had other people in there who may appear intimidating to some of the patrons, but it's about the way you conduct yourself. So
just to clarify, you clearly explained the cultural relevance of your face tattoos, and the answer was still no.
Yes, that's exactly what I said. I said, look, these are culturally significant mataora for New Zealand Maori. And she said, yes, we know about the New Zealanders, but you still can't stay, I'm afraid.
We know how proudly Maoris wear their face tattoos. You see police officers, members of parliament. Michael, correct. You're an army veteran, have lived in Australia for 40 years. I know you got the ink 3 years ago. Why?
Because I'm proud of my Maori heritage, and I'm proud to wear that heritage on my face. Now, my mataora is basically my story, and that's the thing, that mataora is an individual thing for that wearer. No two people's life stories are the same, and no people's mataora is the same. So, and that's the uniqueness about it.
Is this the end of it, or are you considering taking further action?
Well, let's see how it goes. I'm thinking of making submissions to the Human Rights Commission on this. I think it needs to be looked at. This is not an isolated case. I know of other Mauri that have had their mataoras questioned, and I think it's about time that this was put to bed, and that because there's a lot of Mauri out there who are taking on board their right to wear mataora and moko kawai, and they should be allowed to conduct themselves in the way they see fit, as long as they're not hurting anyone, and they're conducting themselves in a socially acceptable way. I think it's a good thing that we highlight this now.
If that manager is watching right now, what do you want her to know about you?
That I'm a law-abiding ex-veteran with no criminal history at all, and the same with my beautiful wahine, and that you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, and if you take the time to ask the person about their tattoos or their mataora, then accept that, and if they're conducting themselves in the right way and they're correctly attired, then there shouldn't be any reason for you to ask them to leave.
Well, Michael, thank you firstly for your years of military service. I'm sorry this happened, and I appreciate that you're speaking out. Thank you.
Thanks you very much, Ali.
And we reached out to the Windsor Hotel. At this stage, it's provided no response.